Hello everyone. Welcome to Power Automate Desktop Training Tutorial. My name is Vishal Ramlani, and in our session today, we will learn about files actions provided by Power Automate Desktop. The files actions that will be covered in today's session are: first, if file exists; second, wait for file; third, copy files; fourth, move files; and fifth, delete files. Let's start with our first action, which is if file exists. So basically, all the file actions helps us to manage files, retrieve their properties, read and write data, and convert them to other types. So the if file exists action, it marks the beginning of a conditional block of actions depending on whether a file exists or not. It has two properties. First is if file, which is the state of the file to check, and second is the file path, which is the full path to look for the file. Let's see how we can use this action in Power Automate Desktop. Under Actions pane, search for if file exists. Drag and drop this action. So the first property, which is if file, it has two options: whether the file exists, or second is it doesn't exist. So let's go with the first one for now. Let's select the file for the file path property. Let's click on save. So if the file exists, let's try to display a message using display message. Let's keep the message as file is present. Click on save and let's run the flow. Okay, so we got this message. It means the file is present. Let me click on OK. Let's go to our next action, which is wait for file. So basically, it suspends the execution of the automation until a file is created or deleted. It has four properties. First is wait for file to be. It specifies whether to pause the flow on the creation or deletion of a certain file. Second is file path. Here we have to specify the full path to look for the file. Third property is fail with timeout period. Here we have to specify whether we want the action to wait indefinitely or fail after a set time period. And finally, the duration, which is the time duration in seconds. Let's see how we can make use of this action in Power Automate Desktop. Let me disable these actions. Under Actions pane, search for wait for file. I can drop this action. Under the first property, there are two options. Either we want to wait for the file to be created or deleted. Let's go with the first one, which is created. Under file path. Now, since we are waiting for a file to get created, let's choose a file which is not present in our folder. Let me traverse the path. Now, as you can see, we don't have any file here, but still we'll try to wait for this file. Let's give it sample.xlsx. So we are waiting for this file to get created. Now, third property is fail with timeout error. So if we let this be disabled, it will wait for this file to get created indefinitely. Whereas if we enable this, it will ask us the duration, that is the number of seconds we want to wait. So let's keep it 5 here and click on save. But you must be wondering, since this file is not present and we are still waiting for this file, what would the result be? Let's run this flow and check. So as you can see, it has thrown an error. That is, timeout has expired. This means within 5 seconds that we gave, it was unable to find the file. So let's try to create one file first in the specified folder and then try to wait for this file. So we can do this by using copy file action. So basically, it helps to copy one or more files into a destination folder. It has three properties. First is files to copy. Basically, it can be a file path or a variable containing a file, a list of files, a text path, or a list of text paths. We can also use get files in a folder action to populate a variable with a list of files. Second property is destination folder. This is the destination folder for the copied files. And third property is if file exists, which specifies what to do if a file with the same name already exists in the destination folder. Let's see how we can make use of it in Power Automate Desktop. For the action pane, search for copy file, drag and drop this action. So let's try to create this file in the specified folder. So let's choose our source file first. Let's select the destination folder as well. And the third property, which is if file exists, it gives us two options. First is do nothing, and second is override. Let's go with override. And the variable produced by this action is copied files. Let's save this. So first, we are copying the files from PA folder to Excel new folder. And then we are waiting for the same file in Excel new folder. Now let's run this flow. As you can see, the flow execution was successful, which means a file was created under this folder. And since we introduced wait for file action, even that was successful as a new file was already created. Let's check the folder. As you can see, sample.xlsx is created under this Excel new folder. Let's move to our next action, which is move files. So it helps us to move one or more files into a destination folder. It has three properties. First is files to move, which can be a file path or a variable containing a file, a list of files, a textual path, or a list of text paths. Second property is destination folder, the folder where we want to move the files. And third property is if file exists, it specifies what to do if a file with the same name already exists in the destination folder. Let's see how to move a file in Power Automate Desktop. Let me disable these two actions. Under Actions pane, search for Move File, drag and drop this action. Now let's select our source file. Let's select the destination folder. And third property is if file exists, which offers us two options, do nothing and override. Now let's overwrite it. And the variable produced by this section is move files. Let's click on save and run this flow. So the flow execution is complete. Now let's check the Excel new folder. As you can see, the file is moved. Now let's move to our last action for the session, which is delete files. So it deletes one or more files. It has that one property, which is files to delete. So its value can be a file path or a variable containing a file, a list of files, a text path, or a list of text paths. Let's see how we can delete a file in Power Automate Desktop. Let's disable this action. Under Actions pane, search for delete files, drag and drop this action. Let's select the file to delete. Click on save and run the flow. So the execution is complete. Let's check the Excel new folder. As you can see, the file has been deleted from here. So this marks the end of our module. Thank you so much for watching this video. I would request you all to subscribe my channel for more videos. Also, I have listed down some suggested videos as well as the ones next in line for your ease. Cheers.